Hello, everyone, and welcome to the National Sim Racing Association Beer Street Journal Grand National Series from the Bristol Motor Speedway. We are in the Beer Street Journal Grand National Series chase for the championship. I am Peter Short, and joining me alongside is none other than Garrett Gleason. And Garrett, Bristol Motor Speedway, half mile. They call it the last great Coliseum, the Bull Ring. It is going to be wild here tonight. Thunder Valley, for sure.
Peter, I'm so excited to be back. I appreciate Mitchell Adams filling in for me last week. It took me 2 weeks to get here, but I am pumped to be at Bristol, and I can't wait to see what these guys do out on track. Like you said, it's a Coliseum. It's going to be like a bunch of gladiators out there battling for supremacy, Peter, and I can't wait to take it in with you and our 3 White TV audience.
Yeah, we are already in the qualifying session brought to you by our friends over at craigsetupshop.co.uk. Currently, Maxwell Castro, fastest of all drivers in qualifying. Philip Scott, second fastest. James Miller in third. Ryan Johnson and Ben Mashburn rounding out your top 5. But definitely not the night that some of your chase drivers were hoping for. Drew Eisman, no time for the number 77 machine. He's going to have to start at the tail end of the field here tonight, but all looking good for Maxwell Castro here tonight. Garrett, very quick lap for the number 15. Very quick last week. Did not get the win last week, but actually, did he get the win last week? My mind is...
No, Gracias did.
Fuzzy, and we are definitely not live. YouTube is not getting... Same thing again. It's just...
I heard voices on the stream on YouTube here.
It's a terrible... YouTube's even telling me I don't have a good connection with it. We're gonna have to just... we're just gonna have to do it late. My connection speed right now to YouTube is 15... All right, folks. Well, unfortunately, we've had technical gremlins, and this time we were unable to connect to the YouTube servers. It looks like we finally got everything all cleared out. Unfortunately, we've missed the start of tonight's Beer Street Journal Grand National Series. We're just now getting back into the iRacing session. Garrett Gleason, who is alongside me, however, is able to catch us up to speed here because, Garrett, it sounds like a caution flag has come out here at Bristol.
Peter, I caught the tail end of it. I see the field under yellow here. It's currently lap 5 going on lap 6. The field's doubling up. We'll have to get into the session, so perhaps we could see which cars were involved. I don't have the list in front of me, but so far you haven't missed much of the action here, and if anything happens before Peter gets his screen back up, I should be able to fill everyone in, and I thank everyone for their patience. We have a restart. Maxwell Castro is still the leader. James Miller giving him a look on the outside.
Yeah, looks like everyone back at home should now be able to see what is going on with out there on the racetrack, folks. We do apologize for that. Maxwell Castro in the number 15 machine, though, has slid already back to the 3rd spot. The 09 of James Miller is your new race leader. Back behind him is Ryan Johnson, sporting that Dale Earnhardt Jr. Motorsports number 38 machine right there. Newcomer to the series with those purple wheels. Philip Scott running in 3rd. Maxwell Castro now slid back to 4th. So early signs that our pole sitter here tonight, Garrett, is kind of sliding back in the field.
Yeah, Max isn't where certainly as far up as where he wanted to be, especially starting on the pole, but Bristol's one of those tracks that some drivers just get better as the tires wear, and Maxwell is a very talented driver. He might be one of those guys, so we'll have to keep an eye on that number 15 as this run goes on.
Yeah, unfortunately, all my live timing and scoring also will now be off because of the fact, or at least where the drivers started at the beginning of the race will also be off because we had to drop basically had to close out of iRacing to see if we could get the iRacing YouTube connection all stabilized. Here's the number 88 machine, Shane Ledoux in the 12. Just lost a spot to Nathan Nixon in that 88. New newcomer here to the Beer Street Journal Grand National Series. Want to give a big shout out to all of our friends here in the Beer Street Journal Grand National Series that helps put this series all together. The number 12 of Ladue right there are now under fire from the number 22 of Race Clark, who's looking for a good night here tonight, Garrett, because Race Clark in the National Aeronautics and Space Administration Ford Mustang, he is one of our chase drivers that we're going to have to talk about here tonight. If you see a driver with the name, with a C by their name, they are a chase driver, and we will highlight that battle here a couple of times throughout the rest of the night. Brandon Key in the number 8, also getting on past the number 12 of Shane Ladue. Here comes Jason Gracias, who Garrett was so good last week at Auto Club Speedway.
Yeah, Peter, absolutely. Jason showed his championship potential last week at Auto Club. I really enjoyed watching the race, seeing him have a good run as we see yellow out in the track here, Peter.
So caution flag coming out here just inside the first 20 laps for the second time. Let's see if we can dial up a replay, hearing that it's Stan Hausman in the number 39 Beer Street Journal Chevy Camaro might have gotten into some trouble. Let's see what we can see here coming here onto the front stretch. Caught the wall there, Garrett, and a little bit of rear end contact from the 08 machine. Goes up the racetrack, catches the number 3 of Jason Shue there right at the end. I believe that was Cody Riggs, perhaps, Glenn Grimm in that number 08 machine, who just caught the back end of Stan Hausman. And this racetrack, it comes at you in a hurry here, Garrett, as they head onto the front stretch. Watch the 39, catches the wall right there. Glenn Grimm just gets into the back of the 39. They make some more contact. That's enough to put us under the second caution of the night.
Yeah, it's real unfortunate for Stan and the Beer Street Journal car, and Glenn Grimm really had nowhere to go. There's not much room there in the front stretch, and you're kind of already making up your mind, preparing yourself for the next corner. And even with the best reflexes in the world, it would have been hard to avoid hitting the 39 there for Glenn Grimm.
Other news to mention here in the championship, Drew Eisenman, the number 77 machine, did not start this race here tonight. So that is definitely going to be pretty crazy for Drew Eisenman, whose season appears to have, at least his possibility of going for the championship appears to have come to a premature end here tonight at Bristol Motor Speedway. Speaking about the points situation, well, it's kind of an interesting point situation entering into tonight, because after last week at Auto Club, where Maxwell Castro ended up going to victory lane, I incorrectly said we might actually catch this in the post-race broadcast if you're watching back, not live. Maxwell Castro was last week's winner at the Auto Club Speedway, not Jason Gracias, but for the point standings, Jason Gracias is your points leader by 6 points over Maxwell Castro, and we're going to be keeping our eyes on those two as this race continues all the way to the end. Only 150 miles here tonight at the Bristol Motor Speedway, and Garrett, if we can get some green flag running in here tonight, we'll be able to kind of get things on by pretty quickly. Just checking in on some stuff that might have happened here under caution. Just checking in to see if something odd might have happened between a couple of these drivers, or maybe they just kind of got so slow out there on the racetrack they kind of triggered. I think that is the case. They just kind of triggered being kind of off the pace. Looks like no contact, and it triggered that they might have slowed to a halt for some particular reason, but that is not the case. This, of course, the pace speed here at Bristol Motor Speedway is relatively slow. But let's see if we can go on board here for this upcoming restart. Let's see if we can jump on board with Ryan Johnson, newcomer to the series. You see the iRacing pace car lights have turned off here at the front of the field. That's good news. And folks, bear with me. I haven't been feeling 100% here today, so technical gremlins was not what I wanted to see, and unfortunately they kind of reared their heads here on 3 Wide TV here tonight. Pace car heads down onto pit lane. James Miller going to get us fired up and back to green flag racing. Looks like Ryan Johnson in that number 38 here. He's not going to be side by side with the 09 machine, and now under fire from a couple of these other drivers. That is the number 99 Phillips Scott to his inside. And here comes Maxwell Castro racing around the outside of the number 15 Chevy Camaro.
There's really no room for error here at Bristol, Peter. These guys are racing so close to one another. If anyone makes a mistake, there's going to be more than one car caught up in it. And speaking of mistakes, it looks like we have another yellow out there.
Caution flag in the air once again here, third time in the opening 25 laps. Let's see if we can figure out what happened here. This is Zach Duscher in the number 87 Monster Energy, racing with the other Monster Energy machine there of Justin White. And oh, the 69 of Lashinsky got loose, and that's what got the 87 machine turned around. Hopefully not a whole lot of damage on the number 87, but enough to bring out the caution flag. Let's see if we can go on board here with Lashinsky and see if we can get kind of a look out front as he goes into the corner. You see him get loose, you see him get loose, he continues to get loose, and luckily for Lashinsky, the number 87 sent him going in the right direction. The 87, on the other hand, not as lucky as Duscher. We'll go on board with him right here, and Garrett, really, the whole racetrack's going to close up on him really quick right here.
Yeah, it was good fortune for Lashinsky being able to use Duscher to keep himself going in the right direction, but unfortunately for the 87, he winds up the wrong way. But I don't think that damage is going to hurt him too bad, Peter. Should track like Bristol, I think he'll be able to continue on and see if he can make a good situation from this early yellow.
Yeah, no, it does look like that number 87 machine is currently being scored one lap down right behind the 09 machine. So we will check on that. Now, just bear with me for 1 second here under this caution flag. I do need to check on some iRacing graphics settings because this most recent update on iRacing did fiddle with some things, and just making sure that we are kind of back to where we should be in terms of the graphical settings that you expect to see here on 3 Wide TV, and it looks like that is going to be the case, so that's good news. But definitely going to be a lot of fun over these next couple of races to round out. Of course, tomorrow night we have the Stay Tuned Sports Podcast Truck Series here on 3 Wide TV as well, and that is going to be our final broadcast in 2022. If you can believe it, 2022 is almost done. And Garrett, this is our penultimate race of 2022, so if you are watching this and you won't be watching tomorrow night's broadcast, I hope you have a great holiday season and a happy new year. That's going to be coming up here very shortly. The days are ticking away. In fact, you can count them on two hands, almost how many days are left. I guess you'd kind of need two hands and a foot at this stage, but we're kind of at that stage, Garrett, that where we at 3 Wide TV want to wish you and your families the best holiday season, and of course a happy new year as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone stay safe out there for the holidays. I hope 2022 is a much better year as far as the health-wise goes in this country, and we can all get back to normal lives again. Seems like things are maybe taking a turn for the worse, but let's hope we all get through this together and we continue on and have a very happy and healthy 2022 here at 3 Wide TV and in the National Sim Racing Association.
Yeah, I guess I already said it was the end of 2022. It's 2021. I'm already a year ahead, folks. Bear with me. Like I said, it has not been my day today. Hopefully I feel better tomorrow. We'll find out. But the 09 of James Miller gets us back underway. Green flag is waving here at Bristol, and Miller heads off towards turn number 1. Side-by-side action right behind him between Johnson and Castro. Johnson going to hold on. What can Philip Scott do? Can he use that high line to his advantage? Does not look like it. Meanwhile, there's some good racing a little bit further back in the pack. Look at that. Oh, contact Shane Ledoux in the 12 machine. He gets really sideways there, Garrett. That appeared to be net code, and we've been hearing that net code in iRacing has been absolutely disastrous over the last couple of weeks. Not sure exactly why, but I've heard a lot of drivers complain about it. We've seen it in these races, and that might just be a little bit of a wake-up call to maybe give these drivers just a little bit more room out there to work with, at least in the opening half of the race. We're not even to the halfway mark here tonight at Bristol as they head off towards that being turn number 1, and the other half of the field's already in turn number 3. This racetrack, it's like a conveyor belt the way you whip around this track.
Oh, for sure, Peter. And just like you're moving us forward to 2022, well, the end of 2022 already, these guys are moving forward with these laps pretty quickly. And it's always interesting here at Bristol, the new configuration, to see some of these guys running that progressive banking up near the top of the wall, some guys diamonding the corner, running essentially a middle groove. And then you have guys that are still stuck on bottom feeding, which doesn't really work too well here, but if you set it up right from the turn before on the straightaway, you're able to try to make a pass like Jason Gracias is attempting right now.
This is one of the hardest racetracks in all of iRacing to pass at. Jason Gracias, though, showing us how it's done, sends it off into turn number 1, slides up in front of the number 88 there of Nathan Nixon. Meanwhile, back behind them, we got a couple of new drivers to the National Sim Racing Association Beer Straight Journal Grand National Series right here, the 45, the 37. They're racing with the 01, so all 3 of these drivers that you see right here are fairly new to this series. That's Gary Eschen in the number 45 machine, Michael Madden, the 37, John Cross in the 01, and Adam Pettit just behind them. I think he's in the Sim Speed Shop number 58 machine. Indeed, he is. There's the number 51 also back there. That's Jared Apel, or Appel. Not exactly sure how to pronounce his name at this point. We'll look into that. Lots of new faces here this week, Garrett. A bit surprising to see so many new faces so late in the series and in the season, you know, with drivers battling for the championship, excuse me. But nonetheless, great to see some growth here in the National Sim Racing Association.
Absolutely, Peter, and that's a testament to Chris Darling, Justin White, and the administrators here. They're putting their name out there. They're putting a good product out there, and these people are seeing this and they're coming. Like you said, definitely a weird time of the season for new guys that come in, but so far so good for these new arrivals as we have a yellow out in the track.
Caution flag out on lap number 39. We're watching Cody Riggs, another newcomer to the series. Ooh, look at Justin White. He had some moments. And a little bit of contact there with Steven Lashinsky. And the number 59 machine puts it up into the outside wall before coming back down the racetrack. Hopefully that is not terrible damage. Let's see if we can get a zoomed-in look of this contact here, Garrett, just to see whether or not there was true contact or whether or not maybe this was another instance of iRacing netcode, and it looked like there was space at that point. Maybe the 69 Lashinsky was going to ultimately make contact, but when the contact was made, at least on our end here on 3 Wide TV, there was definite space between those two drivers. So unfortunately, looks like Cody Riggs going to get the bad end of that stick. Meanwhile, currently out there on the racetrack, we have some different strategies. Some drivers coming down pit road. There's the number 38, Ryan Johnson. He's going to be one of the takers on pit road under this caution flag. A little bit surprising to see this so early, at least in my opinion, Garrett. But we're going to have kind of a mixed bag. About, at least by my count, 8 or so drivers staying out on the racetrack, and then some drivers coming on down. The number 87, however, is going to be our first Brookstone Animal Hospital Lucky Dog Award of the night. The number 87 is going to get himself back on the lead lap, courtesy of Brookstone Animal Hospital out of the greater Atlanta, Georgia area. So we'll reset the field for you folks here in just a minute. There is the 09, James Miller, who continues to be your race leader. The first driver, however, to win the race off pit road, if you will be Maxwell Castro. He will be restarting in the 10th position. Ryan Johnson in the number 38, Garrett. I'm not picking up that he actually stopped in his pit box. So not sure if he just drove on through, but that would be kind of insult to injury if that's the case.
Yeah, that seems a little weird to me, Peter. Had to be some sort of issue there. You don't think you want to give up track position here at Bristol, so I'm guessing he thought he was pitted on one end of the racetrack and just happened to miss his pit stall, which has happened to the best of us here at Bristol, Peter. I certainly can relate.
Yeah, we're just trying to see here real fast on 3 Wide TV if that was indeed the case. We're just trying to queue up a replay of it, and we'll kind of jump on board with him here in just a brief moment as This is when he was on pit road. Just watch out for his pit box here on the left, number 38. He did start fairly high up in the field. You'd expect to see him start to dive into his pit box right about now. And oh, did he? Oops, sorry about that. No, he did go in his pit box. My live timing and scoring doesn't know what it's talking about. So looks like he did take tires. Meanwhile, back out there on the racetrack, glad we got that cleared up for all the folks back at home. We are going to go green here on lap number 45. 106 laps to go when the green flag waves here in the National Sim Racing Association Beer Street Journal Grand National Series. And folks, if you have not checked out beerstreetjournal.com yet here tonight, make sure you do so before the end of the race. We're going to put a link in the description to beerstreetjournal.com as the green flag waves, and the 09 has shot out to a big lead already.
Peter, with all these restarts lately with that 09 of Miller, you think he's the one that works for NASA with the way he gets shot like a rocket on these restarts, but no surprise there seeing him jump out to a bit of a gap on second place. But we'll see if Grace Clark, Philip Scott, Jason Gracias, and the rest of the crew can try to hunt him down here.
Some good trackside shots of the action here at the Bristol Motor Speedways. You get to see just how many different lines these drivers are running here at this particular racetrack, and you also get a sense of the banking that this racetrack has. It is extremely impressive. Some of the highest banking in all of NASCAR here on the short track, and that's why this racetrack in particular is known as the world's fastest half mile. So if you have not checked out beerstreetjournal.com and you're in the chat right now, make sure you click on that link that is there at the bottom of your screen. James Miller, Race Clark currently 1-2 up at the front of the field. Interesting to see that those two drivers did not come down and take tires. Maxwell Castro, he's been able to pick up a couple of positions on his fresh tires, but caution flag is waving once again. Let's see what is going to bring out this particular caution, as Stephen Ford and John Cross appear to have been involved. Let's see if we can pick up exactly what happened between the 27 and a couple of 27 gets into the wall, gets down into the 01. Justin White coming onto the scene, and that was a wild ride for John Cross. Let's see if we can see exactly what John Cross had to see in all of this madness. On board with his machine right here, the 01 man just got completely hooked up into that wall there, Garrett, and Justin White, really nowhere for him to go.
That's a really weird feeling when you're driving, Peter, and somebody hooks you in the passenger side rear, and just you don't know what's happening because you're already like preparing yourself for the next corner, and then a second later you're in a wreck and your night's essentially ruined. It's a very tough break for the 01 there, and an even tougher break for our good friend Justin White, who is coming off a top 5 impressive run at California Auto Club, last week in that monster machine. I'm hoping that it's not too bad of damage and you can continue to run and work on those points.
So you'll see this right here. I'll put it into 3-wide TV slow motion coming out of turn number 4. Keep your eyes on the blue number 27 threat level Midnight Chevy Camaro. Hits the wall right there, bounces them back down the racetrack into the right rear quarter panel of the Susan G. Komen Breast Cancer Awareness 01 machine, and there comes the number 2, who almost launches that 01 up and over, definitely launches it onto its side. We'll see just how much damage are on those two cars, and I don't think that's how physics works, Garrett, with one car going straight through the other, but that's how iRacing works. Gotta love it in all of its glory.
Peter, that's a real weird situation there, because Justin White's a big man. Like, I don't think he could fit in the car and another car fit in the car at the same time, Peter. We're going to have to call some top university professors to explain to us what just went on there.
I don't think they'd be able to explain that. I think they'd tell you that this is a video game. Some people would say it's a simulator, but I think their crash model needs some working, and it's been like that for some time. Anyway, we're under caution flag here again tonight on lap number 53. Race Clark is your race leader, who elected to stay out. Meanwhile, all the other drivers, believe it or not, Garrett, they all just came down pit road. So the drivers like James Miller, who was your race leader, he's now going to find himself all the way back in the 9th position for this upcoming restart with only slightly fresher tires, considering we didn't have all but 2 or 3 green flag laps before the caution flag came out again. So Miller's going to have his work cut out for him as the iRacing pace car lights here have stopped twinkling. I'm a bit surprised with that. I kind of expected Miller to probably go an extra 20 or 30 laps at least to make a good use of the tires that he had. We'll see what Race Clark can do, because also remember, here in the Beer Street Journal Grand National Series, they do run smaller fuel tanks. So at some point, Race Clark is going to have to come down pit road and take on fuel. He must be kind of banking on some more caution flags. But if he can make it to the halfway mark, that I think would be good for the 22 of Clark. Pace car heads down pit road. Clark is on the loud pedal. Green flag waves once again. Gets off to a good start as Ryan Johnson in the number 38 machine, who did make a pit stop with all these other cars around him, but Clark on lap number 41 is right behind him. The number 51 of Jared Appel in the Exxon 51 smacks the wall coming out of turn number 4. No harm, no foul that time, as he almost jumped down into the side of the 15 of Castro, but was able to corral it. Castro is going to ride in 4th. Michael Madden right behind him in the number 37 with the Sim Speed Shop 58. Adam Pettit behind him, Brandon Key, James Miller, and Travis Koffler rounding out our top 10 right now. And speaking of James Miller, he's locked in a battle with Koffler right there, and looks like Philip Scott in the number 99 is right back behind them as well, as the 09 trying to pick up spots on the low line, which is usually not the preferred line here at Bristol Motor Speedway.
Peter, Miller and these other guys who just pitted are finding themselves in the danger zone now. Race Clark, I love his strategy, staying out, getting away from some of that mess. We've seen the unpredictability of yellows out here tonight, so these guys are going to work as quickly as they can to pass these cars and get back to the front, because they do not want to take a chance that one of these cars bounces off the wall, ruins their night, and potentially chance of the championship for those who are involved in the contention of that.
Meanwhile, up at the front of the field, Race Clark on those older tires is now being pressured by the number 38 of Ryan Johnson. They're going to race. They're going to make contact down the front stretch, and the number 38, they're launched up into the air. He might lose another spot to Appel here in the number 51. Now the 38 and the 15 are going to be, well, they were going to be side by side. Maybe they still will be side by side here down the front stretch, but that was almost a big moment. Garrett, you were talking about Race Clark wanting to be ahead of the accident, or being ahead of any type of contact. Well, it didn't seem to exclude him out of that contact right there, as the little nudge there at the front of the field. And now look at the field starting to stack up, and now 3 wide, including James Miller. The 45 machine of Gary Eschen decided to try and take it 3 wide on the inside, thought better of it, had to back out. But that has allowed Miller to now get himself back up into the top 5 here tonight, as Race Clark is doing a stellar job at the front of the field, still holding on with the now 64-lap-old tires.
Yeah, he's doing a really tremendous job holding these guys off, Peter, but as you can see, when it comes to the short track racing, if the field gets bunched up behind a certain car, guys get impatient, and someone will move that 22 of Race Clark if they have to, because everyone's thinking, I could lead this race better than him. He's holding me up. Look at this gaggle of cars behind me as we look at the 51 diving underneath, going for the lead. Looks like he's done that. Oh, he didn't clear him, Peter. And we have some contact, and here we go.
Yep, Race Clark, championship contender in the wall. Night potentially done there. And we're going to see how this all broke out. A couple of other possible championship contenders involved as well in this one. Let's see if we can see and put this in 3-wide TV slow motion right here for everyone back at home. Well, maybe that's a little bit too early. Let's see, the 51 dives down on the bottom side of the racetrack. It's a little bit flatter. You can see him starting to drift up the racetrack there, Garrett. He's still drifting up the racetrack. He gets into the side of the 22, puts the 22 into the wall right there. And then look at Castro. Castro comes down the wall, hits the number 38, also hits the number 45 of Eschen. And it's on from there. The 45 absolutely mauled into the inside wall. But and Ryan Johnson as well, an early race contender. It looks like number 1, Jason Gracias, points leader coming into tonight. He got into the number 22 of Race Clark, and that is the, I think you kind of said it, the impatience that you can see here at these racetracks.
Yeah, Peter, you're watching the battle up in front of you. If you're someone like Max Castro in this scenario, and you're saying, okay, let's see what happens for the battle for the lead, and you see all this chaos coming towards you essentially after it happens, and you have nowhere to go because you're focused on that and also racing the guys beside you. Again, it's just one of those situations that short track racing, you're always in the hornet's nest, and unfortunately for a lot of our championship contenders, they're not walking away from this accident without any damage. As we're taking another look at it here, and you can just watch how quickly things just close up, and you're spun into the inside wall, and then essentially night over there, and cars just continue to pile in because there's just nowhere to go, guys.
Yeah, and we can also want to make mention that the 22 Race Clark, his championship hopes have been dashed as well. He is off the racetrack. His night is done. And it might be good to look at this one from the blimp cam here as well, because that first look that we had on kind of the TV3, it seemed like it's really hard to say, because the racing line here at Bristol is kind of a difficult one. It's a kind of a difficult one to judge because of the fact, watch the groove, that kind of dark line that you see, because Race Clark's kind of staying right there with the dark line. He's kind of coming down a little bit at that point. The 51 might be coming up a little bit. You can see Clark still holding steadfast to that darker groove there. And, from that angle, it kind of seems like maybe more of a 50-50 deal. It's early, though. We're not even to the halfway mark. Maybe a little bit more room could be given at this stage of the race, but that is Bristol. You see Race Clark lost his hood there and somehow found it back. I tell you what, those National Aeronautics and Space Administration engineers are pretty crazy in what they can do. They can send cars through cars. They can somehow find hoods where there weren't hoods. But anyway, that's another story, or another page in the story of the championship. Under this particular caution, Jason Gracias and Maxwell Castro, both of them extended stops for damage repair. Back half of the field is completely not formed up at this point. Looks like Stan Hausman, 39, trying to come around. We might get an extra lap of caution flag here if it is not all sorted out pretty quickly. Also, someone having connection issues there. That appears to be the 39 of Riggs. Will we see the green flag wave? Looks like yes, we will. So the race officials deeming everyone lined up properly. And the 09 of James Miller finds himself back out front here, Garrett. Looks like he's got a little bit of rear end damage on that Toyota, possibly from some of these past accidents, but don't think that's going to affect him a whole lot, as some of our championship contenders like Gracias and Castro now going to have to fight from the back of the field.
Yeah, it should be exciting to watch those guys such as Gracias and Castro come from the back of the pack, and like you mentioned, Miller out front again. That rear end damage shouldn't hurt him here. Good thing it's not an aerodynamic racetrack. He might have had some different handling characteristics, but here at Bristol, should be in good shape, but that 99 of Philip Scott, we know he's pretty aggressive, and he's running you down as the leader from second place, so you can't make any mistakes because Philip will be there to capitalize.
So, just to update everyone on the championship drivers, Jason Gracias, he's been involved in the accident. Maxwell Castro, he was involved in the last accident with Gracias. Race Clark, involved in the last accident with the other two. Drew Eisenman did not start. Jeffrey Vickery, we just saw him there catch the wall. Now, Vickery is well out of the championship hunt because he missed a race a couple of weeks ago. Justin White in the number 2. He's been involved in an accident. Brady Smith did not start. Joshua Sobel did not start. Christopher Darling did not start. Matt Cherry did not start. Garrett, this championship is really now down to Gracias and Maxwell Castro. I mean, just looking at it, it's a 2-horse race, 3 races left in the championship. We're down to just Gracias and Castro fighting it out for the title. Maxwell Castro, he's down in 12th right now. Jason Gracias just making a move here to get himself up into the 8th position. Gracias came into tonight as the points leader And, I mean, unless something crazy happens, Stephen Ford again smacks the wall in the number 27 off of turn number 4. That led to the first accident, or one of the first accidents that we saw here tonight. But we have made it to the back half of the race under the green flag conditions now. And right now, looks like the 09, James Miller, out to about a 3/10 of a second lead over the 99.
Yeah, Miller doing a good job holding off Philip Scott and the 51 there. But Peter, just to go back, you're talking about a bunch of guys not making this race and it being a 2-horse battle for the championship. I think it's not anything to do with this series. We have a great series, a great sponsor, Beer Street Journal. I think it's just this time of year. People are doing things with their family. And I'm sure these guys wanted to be here, Peter, and they just couldn't make it for a variety of reasons. And that's really a shame because you put so much effort into the season, make the chase, and then you have something come up family-wise or obligation-wise that you just can't get out of. And I had that obligation a week ago, and Mitchell Adams filled in for me in the broadcast. It happens to the best of us, and it's a real shame. But hopefully the series will continue on next season. Some of these guys will get their crack at this championship.
Yeah, well, hopefully we can see those other drivers for the final 3 races, which will, of course, will be in the new year. We have 2 weeks off from tonight. Of course, next week is the week leading up to Christmas, and then, of course, the week after that is the week leading up to New Year's, and then after that, we only have 2 races left, Five Flags and Charlotte Motor Speedway, January 6th and January 13th, to round out our 2021-2022 Beer Street Journal Grand National Series here on 3 Line TV. So right now, the number 99 of Philip Scott trying to track down these front 2. Just checking in on Jason Gracias. He's made his way back up into the top 5 with a pass around Jeffrey Vickery. He's battling there with the 45 machine, who is more than a lap down. Gary Eshen, who was involved in that last accident that we just had, got a lot of damage on that car, unfortunately. Maxwell Castro, he's only recovered up to 10th, though, so I would believe that as caution flag has waved, that maybe the number 15 is a little bit more damaged than we expected him to be. But there's probably another car out there that's a little bit more damaged than it was once upon a time, because caution flag wave. Let's see if we can see what happened here. Keep your eyes on the number 88 here of Nathan Nixon. And the Stephen Ford caught the wall again. We've seen that before here tonight, seen that a couple of times. Gets into the 88 machine, sends him spinning into the wall, and that is a lot of front-end damage on the number 88, newcomer to the Beer Street Journal Grand National Series. He'll have to come down and get a lot of that damage repaired on that race car, but will we see another slew of drivers coming down pit road? Does not look like it this time. And no, does not look like it, as that Philip Scott thought about it. Philip Scott kind of coming down there late. So Scott's going to come down. Vickery's coming down. Ryan Johnson's coming down. Maxwell Castro coming back down pit road. Stephen Lashinsky as well. So mixed strategies here as we have just over 60 laps to go here tonight in the BeerStreetJournal.com Busch Grand National, sir. Not really. Well, I guess it kind of works. I say it's Busch Grand National because I'm old school like that, Garrett. But of course, Busch is a Beer Street Journal. Now, I wouldn't think Busch would make it onto the Beer Street Journal website because, of course, Beer Street Journal is more catered towards craft beers across the United States. But it, I guess, kind of fits that particular niche. But got to give a big shout out to BeerStreetJournal.com. Christopher Darling saying, I was 20 minutes shy of the green flag. Well, Chris, you did miss the green flag here on 3YTV. We unfortunately had some technical gremlins with the iRacing update that just hit a couple of weeks ago. I had to rerun my graphics configurator and then change settings and do a couple of things that I was not expecting to do. And interestingly enough, was not an issue last week. It was only an issue with this most recent round of updates, which I installed just before this race. And I was not expecting that little, I guess, hot fix or patch that iRacing always does around week 13. And it completely screwed up my graphics. And then, of course, we had connection problems with YouTube. So we unfortunately missed the start of the race in that whole ordeal, trying to get everything all ship-shape here on the channels. So we did get in on lap number 5 or lap number 6, something like that. So nonetheless, the iRacing pace car lights are twinkling at the front of the field, and been a little bit under the weather here today. And I'll tell you, hopefully we can get everything all kind of squared away and sorted out here at the front of the field with the 09 of James Miller. Going to lead us back to green here, Garrett, on lap number 93, it looks like.
Yeah, so far so good for James Miller. We've seen this story before with him leading a bunch of laps and pretty much being in control of a race from the get-go. But Peter, we're talking about before that yellow came out, Jason Gracias, Maxwell Castro, pretty much a 2-horse race for the championship based on guys missing races and whatnot. When you're in Jason Gracias' position, you're the points leader, do you put that in your mentality that I'm racing the 15, I just have to beat the 15, maintain my lead? Or are you not worried about that? Are you saying, let's take each race at a time, this is the car I have tonight, so on and so forth? Peter, what would your mentality be there?
Well, I mean, at this point, if you're in the championship hunt, man, it's all about salvaging as many points as you can get here tonight. If you're not in the championship hunt, everything's thrown out the window. It's all about tonight. It's all about getting the checkered flag tonight. James Miller, who we've seen very quick since joining the National Sim Racing Association, as it looks like Shane LeDoux there topped the wall off of turn number 4. It looks like turn number 4 has been the problem spot here tonight. But if you're one of these drivers not in the chase, and at this point, speaking of the chase, if you're not Jason Gracias or Maxwell Castro, so all the other drivers out there on the racetrack, it's all about getting the win. Like I mentioned, James Miller there at the front of the field. So kind of, all bets are off. Miller got that win at North Wilkesboro 2 weeks ago here on 3Y TV. He's going to try and pick up his second win tonight, if at all possible. Now, here's an interesting story. Maxwell Castro, he came down pit road and took on tires just a little while ago. He's now charging his way back up through the field. Meanwhile, the number 51 and the number 99 are battling it out. So the 15 and the 1, that battle, which wasn't looking all too exciting a few minutes ago, now appears to be exciting. And how about this battle for the race lead as Philip Scott has worked his way through the field on fresher tires. He just came down pit road on lap number 89. He's going to try and go for the race lead here if he can get around Miller, and looks like he can. Clears the 09 on the back straight. Philip Scott leads for the first time tonight.
New leader, 99, the National Ninja League 99. Philip Scott taking the lead there, Peter. He's got those 4 Mr. Feelgoods on, and he's making good use of them. I imagine the 99 is hoping for a long green flag run here as we're looking at Jason Gracias, who has lost the spot to Maxwell Castro. There's some points implications there. That 15 is also taking advantage of those fresh tires.
Yeah, so we don't exactly know whether or not Maxwell Castro, he had an extended stay on pit road. We don't know if when he pitted for his second time here tonight, around lap number 70, whether or not he has, you can see the flag man waving the caution flag waving again. We will kind of come back to that here in a little bit. We're hearing that maybe keep your eye on the number 20 machine of Hoefler right here. Might have had contact with Shane LeDoux. We've seen LeDoux catch the outside wall once or twice, and it just comes up the racetrack, and I think he was expecting LeDoux to be higher up the racetrack, and they just make contact with one another, and the 20 goes around, and that's enough to bring out the caution flag here around lap number 100. Let's see if we can get one more look at that here from the good old 3Y TV blimp cam that has to be tethered to the Megatrons in the center of the racetrack, and just kind of coming together. I definitely think the 20 expected LeDoux to be closer to the wall, and that was not the correct assumption right there. Meanwhile, here we go. We got drivers coming down pit road. You saw James Miller peel onto pit road. Jason Gracias also peeling onto pit road here with about 50 laps to go. I would think here, Garrett, that they're probably putting on their final set of tires. Not sure how many tire sets they have here tonight in this particular race.
Peter, all my sources were not here tonight. I didn't get that information before the race, but we're definitely seeing some differing strategies here. Now we're going to see a couple laps of green flag on the tires of the 99 and the 15 versus these fresh tires on who was the race leader before those different strategies, the 09 of Miller and contenders such as Gracias. This is going to be really interesting, Peter, to see if 10-ish laps of tires is really going to make that much of a difference with less than 50 laps to go.
So it looks like I was able to just quickly check. Looks like iRacing said 3 tire changes. So that would be 4 sets of tires. That set that of course you start on, and 3 tire changes. At least that's the way it is put. Is maximum tire changes of 3. So I would assume that means they probably still have a set of tires on pit road, maybe for later in the race. But Philip Scott, Maxwell Castro will cycle through to the race lead. If you're wondering where James Miller and Jason Gracias are, well, there's James Miller a little bit further back. He looks like will be lining up in 8th, unless someone else comes down pit road here very shortly. But still plenty of time for him to get up to the front of the field here at the half-mile Bristol Motor Speedway. How's the chat doing here tonight, folks? If you're just now joining us on 3 Wide TV, a slew of early caution flags on the channel, and hopefully everyone is doing okay. And Garrett, to kind of state your point earlier, maybe a lot of our typical chat members that we typically see are doing things with their family. It's that time of the year. It seems like a couple of drivers here on 3 Wide TV, the Beer Street Journal Grand National Series, are out here tonight for possible family things that they're hopefully having fun with and doing. It looks like Philip Scott, interestingly enough, here, Garrett, he's going to be choosing the high line for this upcoming restart, as Maxwell Castro is going to be relegated to the inside line.
Yeah, I think Philip's going to want to pinch to 15 down here and get some momentum and be able to clear him. We'll see if this works out for him. But yeah, I'm wondering if these people who are not here and the people who aren't joining us in the chat, maybe they're on the naughty list and they're in hiding from Santa Claus. I mean, that's always a possibility this time of year, Peter. It's something we should not throw away until we fully investigate it. As we watch the 99 get a heck of a restart and has no issue clearing the 15 headed off in turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, so Philip Scott clears that 15. Castro, though, clears Jeffrey Vickery. Now's where it starts to get a little bit more interesting, because we got those fresh tires on the number 09 of James Miller, and Miller's going to just scoot on past the 51. He's now up into 5th, so from 8th to 5th in about a lap and a half here at Bristol Motor Speedway. That is making quick work of the field. We also have to keep our eyes on Jason Gracias. He has moved up into 8th after that green flag fell. Of course, Castro versus Gracias is the battle we're going to be keeping our eyes on here for the championship here in the Beer Street Journal over the next couple of races. Meanwhile, James Miller getting underneath the number 38 of Johnson. He will make that pass and now is into the top 4. Looking at the back bumper of the number 21 of Jeffrey Vickery here, and I would think with those fresh tires, he's already got a run on him. Gonna look to the inside, try and hook that bottom line. Can he clear him out of 2? Not quite able to do so. Miller, though, gonna clear him off into turn number 3, so move the 09 up into 3rd. He has been very, very quick here tonight at the Bristol Motor Speedway. Looking a little bit further back in the pack, we've got some good racing here between some of the threat level midnight teammates, the 12 and the number 27. Meanwhile, Glenn Grimm in the 08 making quick use of the number 87, has the number 51 of Jared Appel right in front of him. This is a battle right now for 7th, 8th, and 9th as they run on the racetrack. Glenn Grimm, who was involved in an earlier accident here tonight, Garrett, so far making up for it as the 51 of Appel smacks the wall hard coming out of turn number 4.
Well, we almost had another incident between guys who were already involved in incidents, and not that they necessarily caused the incidents, but the 87, the 51, they certainly did not need to see that. I'm glad nobody got caught up in that. These cars continue on as we're watching a battle here between the top 3, and looks like we had a little bit of the wall there, and the 09 didn't seem to stop his momentum any, as he's putting a good run on the 15 here, and we'll see how long Max can hold him off.
Yeah, we will find out, getting really close in that rear bumper, that's for sure. And let's see, when can he make that dive down to the bottom side of the racetrack here? Not doing so just yet, just sticking in line. Of course, the longer he waits, Garrett, probably the more that the tires start to equalize with the 15 and the number 99 in front of him. Here they are catching up to one of the slower cars. That is the 01 machine of John Cross, still out there turning laps. Here comes the 09 to Miller. No, he ducks back behind the number 15. We're now down to 32 laps to go this time by, but caution flag waving once again. Let's see if we can figure out what this caution flag might have been for here tonight. Keep your eyes on this group of cars. The 27 got into the outside wall there, and then, a little bit of contact with the 58 from behind, and the 27 goes drifting onto pit lane. Unscheduled pit stop for the 27 of Stephen Ford.
Peter, that was one of the weirder looking incidents I've seen in my time here on 3Y TV. It was just a very strange deal. The 27's having issues here. 58's coming in. I guess it looks like he was on the brakes. So it looks like there's some skidding there. It just did not have enough time to avoid the 27. But that caution seemed to take forever to happen, and it just was inevitable.
Now let's see. There's the contact with the wall. Now let's see if there's any indication that maybe Stephen Ford got loose or not. It doesn't look like he got loose. Just looks like maybe the 58 came in a little bit too hot relative to Ford and spun him right around. So interesting to see how that all shakes out. Meanwhile, out there on the racetrack, this is back live. The 09 of James Miller, he stayed out. Philip Scott stays out. Maxwell Castro pitting. In fact, quite a few drivers coming down onto pit road for what will presumably be the final time for them here tonight. Castro coming to his pit box, going to take on a fresh set of tires, we think. Also on pit road, Ryan Johnson, Jared Appel, Michael Madden, Stephen Ford, Adam Pettit, Zach Duscher, and Travis Hoffler in the number 20. Meanwhile, the number 01 machine right there is going to be your Brookstone Animal Hospital Lucky Dog Award winner under this particular caution. A lot of damage on that race car, but he's still out there on the racetrack. About 2 or so laps down behind our race leaders, and just trying to hold on to see if he can salvage a decent finish before the end of the night, but he's going to need some late race attrition, you would think, to be able to score anything like a top 10. But props to him for sticking it out. Those are usually not the funnest of nights, but at the same time, sometimes those are the nights that at the end of the season you can look back on. Granted, he's very new to the series, but it's that type of I guess being an Ironman of sorts. So just stay out there and slug away at laps even when your car is off the pace. That can matter if you're in a particular situation like a championship hunt at the end of the season.
Yeah, it's like a moral victory out there, Peter. You figure I committed my night to coming out here racing at Bristol, and I'm going to finish this race one way or another. And sometimes it's good to have that mentality in racing. And like you said, next season or whatever, you might need one of those nights to put yourself in position to win a championship or something like that. So no shame in doing it tonight and just trying to salvage every point that you can, even if you're not racing for the championship. It might mean something down the road.
That it very well might. Meanwhile, the field is doubling up here. We're going to have not quite a 25-lap shootout here at Bristol Motor Speedway, but it's going to be about 27 laps by my math. Johnny Williams in the chat saying sampling some beer sounds fun. It does not sound fun to me right now. Being under the weather, alcohol is something I do not want at this moment in time. Philip Scott, though, he is your race leader. Maybe he will have some champagne sipping at the end of the race if he can hold on to the race lead. But here comes the 09. That is James Miller, who has led the most laps here tonight so far in the 09 Toyota Camry, trying to take it away. They're going to be side by side here as they come down the front stretch off into turn number 1. And look at Maxwell Castro now. He's back up into the top 5 right behind the number 1 of Jason Gracias, who he's battling for the championship with. As Philip Scott there just barely grabbed the wall out of turn number 4. That might have hurt him down the front stretch just enough to allow James Miller to get back up to the race lead. Now we're going to focus on this battle for the 3rd spot, as it looks like Jason Gracias has made the pass, contact between Vickery and the 15, and that is actually going to help Maxwell Castro because Vickery, I think, had to back out of it and allowed the 15 of Castro to scoot on through. We're inside 25 laps to go.
Oh, Max Castro just kept on going there, and he didn't lose a tenth out there. Nothing. As he continues to hunt down the number 1 Jason Grassi. So look further back in the pack. We have this gaggle of cars here. Ledoux, Johnson, Duscher, and Vickery. Wow, what a battle, Peter. These guys aren't giving each other an inch out there. And Peter might be having a coughing fit, so I'll take back over again here as we're still watching this intense battle here inside the top 10. These guys trying to salvage a good night here with 22 laps to go. We're looking back forward here. It looks like Philip Scott is falling back a ways from the 09. Jason Grassi and Maxwell Castro battling not only for the championship, but battling for position out on the racetrack. And we'll see if Peter's back or if they're going to keep going.
Yeah, you called it right there, Garrett. A little bit of a coughing fit. Had to mute my mic so no one heard all the nasty sounds in the background. As here we go. Now, this is an interesting one, Garrett. Jason Grassi, he's going to try and get underneath Philip Scott here. That's a bit of a gutsy move because that outside line is usually the preferred groove, and if you don't have a significant tire advantage, usually the inside line doesn't perform very well. But he's going to try and brave this one out, try and get past Philip Scott. That would be for second spot. We know Gracias and Philip Scott have raced each other a lot over the years here on 3 Wide TV. And if you're Jason Gracias, if you get another car between you and the number 15 of Maxwell Castro, that, of course, is going to be good for your point situation. So that might be what Gracias is thinking about as he clears the number 99 now up into second, but Castro is going to follow the number 1 on through up into third. This is a great battle. James Miller up to about a 1 second race lead. Castro going to slot back in behind the number 1 of Gracias. Remember, Castro has about 17 laps fresher tires than the number 1 of Jason Gracias. So that is definitely an advantage to Maxwell Castro, but does he have enough pace to get around the number 1 of Gracias here in the closing stages?
I don't know, Peter. It certainly looks like to me that the number 1 of Jason Gracias is driving the wheels off that thing, knowing that he doesn't have quite the same speed that the 15 does. As we see the 15 make that move to the inside, getting there is one thing, pulling off the pass is another. But that 38 is also working his way back up in the picture here, running solidly in the top 5, and could definitely be a contender by the end of this thing. And I just wanted to go back to before Philip Scott got past there. I love Philip Scott as much as I would love my own son, Peter. But of all the drivers out there in the track, he is definitely one of the hardest to pass. And these guys getting past him is going to do wonders for their lap time because he would be able to hold you up for laps. He's that talented and that stubborn out there.
Well, speaking of Philip Scott, he's now fallen all the way down to the 7th position. But his tires at this point are closing in on 40 laps old. In fact, him and Jeffrey Vickery both pitted on lap number 89 quite a long time ago. Meanwhile, up at the front of the field, lap count winding down, and the 09 of James Miller is being caught by Maxwell Castro, who, of course, was on the CraigSetupShop.co.uk pole award at the beginning of the show. Dropped back very quickly in the race to around the 5th position, but a little bit different tire strategy is working out for him as we have been green flagged now for about 10 to 14 laps, somewhere in that range. I think we went green with 27 laps to go, so we are down to 10 laps to go. So take that back, 17 laps of green flag running here at Bristol, and that's definitely suiting the drivers on the fresher tires, like the number 15 here of Maxwell Castro, as Castro looks to the inside of Miller, not able to do anything with it this time. We're inside 10 with just 9 laps to go.
Peter, I think I mentioned something early on in the race when we saw the 15 dropping back that maybe he was one of those guys that the car would come to him once the tires got some heat in them and started to wear out a bit. He's certainly looking to prove that theory true here as he's looking under the 09, and I don't expect the 09 to give this to him at all. Miller's shown to be an aggressive driver, and this battle for the lead could potentially turn into a bumper cars battle here with Jason Gracias lurking and the 38 not far behind him. So we'll see what these guys have coming to 6 to go.
Yeah, and they have lap traffic. Steven Lashinsky decides to pull to the inside of the racetrack. Wise move there by the number 69 Monster Jam machine as, Maxwell Castro there might have clipped the apron a little bit on exit of turn number 4. That appears to have hurt his run up off the corner, but he got a really good turns number 1 and 2 to kind of pull in front of the 09. Again, Maxwell Castro diving it in deep, and this time goes up the racetrack just a little bit more. That's going to give the 09 a lot to think about here over the next 5 laps. As here comes the number 1 of Jason Gracias. He's creeping back into the picture here, but Castro runs the 09 way up the racetrack again through turns number 3 and 4. I don't think number 09 is going to like that. Miller's still trying to hold tough, but the number... Oh, the 09 gets into the wall. The 09 gets into the wall, and that's going to allow the 15 of Castro to scoot away here. 4 laps to go here at Bristol, and if we don't see another caution flag, these four laps will be over in about a minute, as looks like the number 38 of Johnson now causing a little bit of hassle here for the 09 of Miller, and now, of course, Gracias wants to get past the 09 machine. He might use the number 38 here as a little bit of a pick, because Gracias is in that points battle, and he's seeing the number 15 possibly win this race, as we're now down to just 2 laps to go.
Peter, that battle between the 09 and the 15, I kept expecting the 15 to creep up as the laps were winding down, and that's certainly what we saw. You run out of patience, you run out of racetrack. As we're coming to the white flag here, buddy, it looks like Castro's going to be able to get this thing done as we're watching the battle here behind him.
Yeah, and Ryan Johnson, where did he come from? He's up into second. I thought he was a lap car. How is he being scored in second? I'm a bit confused. I don't know what's happening, but the 15 of Castro is going to win the race, and Ryan Johnson, at least on my screen, is going to come home in second, Garrett.
Yeah, Peter, I believe he was running there in the top 5 and was closing in those guys. I made a mention of it. Unless our timing and scoring was wrong, I think that's a P2 for him, and I don't know if he raced last week because I wasn't at the broadcast, but if not, that's one heck of a debut here in the National Sim Racing Association.
Well, with the way things happen here at Bristol so quick, yeah, they can sneak up on you. Maxwell Castro, though, gonna go to victory lane here at Bristol Motor Speedway. That is pretty crazy that Ryan Johnson, who also pitted on lap number 120 with Maxwell Castro, is going to be able to scoot away. And with all things said and done, Jason Grassi is going to fall off the podium there late in the race. That could have major championship implications as well, because based off the point standings, I believe the number 15 of Maxwell Castro will take the points lead, leaving Bristol Motor Speedway with just 2 more races left this season. Going to be pretty epic to see everything round out here in the Bear Street Journal Grand National Series. Let's see if we can dial up some of these post-race interviews with some of these drivers here on 3 Wide TV, because, like I said, I'm feeling a little bit under the weather, and unfortunately just trying to see if we can get these all wrapped up so I can get to bed. Just got to see where is, I'm assuming that's Ryan Johnson. Doesn't have his name here in Discord, but everything seems to work out with him, and let's see if we can get James Miller down in here as well, the Canadian driver here in the National Sim Racing Association. In fact, the only Canadian driver that we had all night long. Looks like James Miller's mic is muted. We'll see if we can kind of pull him in real fast and see if that is just something that he kind of does while he's racing, or whether or not he's actually kind of away from his keyboard at the moment. James Miller, Peter Short, 3 Wide TV booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, unfortunately, the tire strategy didn't quite work out for you there late in the race in the number 09 machine with other drivers on fresher tires around you, but you put up one heck of a battle, and walking away, leading the most laps here tonight at Bristol. I'm sure that will be a little bit disappointing that you didn't get the checkered flag, but a good spirited battle there at the end.
Yeah, I just took a gamble. Wasn't sure how many people behind me would pit, and Max restarted 8th, and I was like, well, it might work, it might not, and trying to fend him off for those last 10 laps really killed my right front. I was really driving that car hard, which ended up letting the 38 by, and then having to battle with the one car at the end. But no, it was good. I wasn't quite expecting it to be green for the rest of the run. I was hoping maybe a caution help save track position or whatnot, but it's all good. Fun race. I was up front most of the time. good battle. Stayed out of that one wreck right in front of us, so it was a good day.
Are you surprised that tires made that much of a difference there at the end with these GNS cars, or is that what you were expecting? Just you were hoping to see another caution flag there late?
Yeah, I was expecting it to be a caution fest where the tires wouldn't have been that big of an advantage, but no, based off how the first half of the race went, the tires were a huge difference of just being able to run a little harder to get the better drive off. It made a huge difference to pass because we were all stuck to the high line, so you had to pass low. So just getting that better drive in and getting it to rotate down to the bottom definitely helped out. So not a surprise there. Just like I said, I was thinking maybe it'd be a bit more of a caution fest towards the end where we stretched out that long, the tires wouldn't have caught up. But hey, it happened, and move on from the choices.
Yeah, sometimes that's exactly what you have to do. Just kind of move on. Of course, we got the break for Christmas next week, and then New Year's the week after that. January 6th, we go to Five Flags, and I think with the fact that you've been fairly good in the short tracks recently, I think you're probably looking forward to Five Flags.
Oh yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. Do love me some short tracks.
All right. Well, before we let you go, anyone you want to give a shout out to?
Just all the guys on the team, maybe.
All righty. Well, James, keeping it short and sweet there at the end. Best of luck in a couple of weeks, and have a good Christmas and Happy New Year.
Yeah, happy holidays, everyone, and Happy New Year, and see you guys at Five Flags.
All right. Well, let's see if we can now move on to the second place finisher here tonight. I believe that Garrett Gleason has caught up with the driver of the number 38 machine. Caught me off guard there at the end, Garrett. Number 38 of Ryan Johnson.
Hey, Ryan, it's Garrett up in the 3YTV booth. If I'm not mistaken, this was your first run here at the National Sim Racing Association Beer Street Journal Grand National Series. Could you tell everyone a little bit about yourself and how you came to this league?
Um, been on iRacing for, I don't know, like 2 years now. And we met I found this league through Justin White, who actually told us about it today. And I like racing. I race in real life, and I like doing a lot of different leagues. It's a lot of fun. Big hobby of mine. Yeah. What else you want to know?
Hey, we won't hold it against you that you're talking to Justin White. I talked to Justin White myself, and it's one of those burdens that we have to carry throughout our life. But you come here to Bristol, you show up in your debut race, and came out of nowhere there at the end and ended up finishing second. Tell us a little bit about your night out there, what you saw from the other drivers, and how you raced the track.
I knew it was going to be probably survival tonight. That's how most Bristol races go. So I was just trying to stay up front as long as we could. And then we got involved in that accident kind of in the middle of the race. We had some damage, but luckily we were able to get it fixed and work our way back through traffic and get back up there at the end. Congrats to Max and James, and I think it was Jason. I'm not too good on the names first race, but that was a lot of good, hard, clean racing at the end there. That was a lot of fun.
It was certainly a lot of fun from our perspective, and it seems like you had a good time here. Can we expect to see you here again after the new year at Five Flags?
Yeah, most likely.
Well, that's awesome. And we want to congratulate you on a good second place run. And if you have any shout outs, and if please, the floor, I'm going to give you the floor here, but if not, happy holidays, and I'll let you give your shout outs now.
Yeah. All the admins that put this league on, Youth Broadcasting, any sponsors that this league has, I'll get to know them eventually. My teammates, Justin for inviting me to this league, and all the drivers, all the viewers, and family and friends.
Well, congratulations again, and you'll get to know the sponsors. Beer Street Journal is an amazing sponsor, and the sponsor on Friday night, Stay Tuned Sports, that guy is a complete jerk, and don't ever talk to him. That's all the advice I can give you, but we'll see you in a couple weeks.
All right, thanks, Ben.
I believe Peter Short is now catching up with our race winner, Maxwell Castro. Peter, when you're ready.
Yeah, I'm headed down to Victory Lane here, which is always an interesting victory lane here at the Bristol Motor Speedway. Maxwell Castro, who had a one heck of a night, all things considered. It always seemed like he was a little bit off tire strategy from everyone else, but made it work with that long green flag run to the end. Maxwell, looking back, it seemed like everything went as well as it could have there late in the race. Were you concerned another caution would come out late and change everything for you?
Yeah, I wasn't too sure what the strategy was, so I just took tires with 30 to go, hoping it would play out the way it did. And man, it's not a great feeling not having any tires if a caution were to come out with like 15 to 10 to go. So it worked out. I wasn't expecting it to. My whole focus was the championship, so I was just trying to be on the offense of Mr. Jason Gracias, who's an excellent racer, by the way. So. Whew, it worked out. I'm just catching my breath now.
Well, it definitely did work out for you getting the win. There's no way to be, I guess, more offensive. Well, not offensive. That's a bad thing to say while streaming and talk to people. But to be on the offense, there you go, because you definitely weren't offensive to anyone. But to be on the offense, then to get the win and take as many points as you can. Of course, picked up the pole award at the top of the show as well. Unfortunately, we kind of missed that. Hopefully, people who watch the race on the VOD would be able to see that. But it wasn't a great start. You slid back. You were up and down throughout the top 10, but you got to the lead when it mattered there at the end of the race, and only 2 races left after tonight. 5 Flags and Charlotte Motor Speedway to round out the championship. What are your thoughts of those races?
Like Bristol, I haven't put any laps on 5 Flags, so I'll be getting that soon and putting some laps in. Just now it's just I don't know how the points play out, but I think I may have taken the lead, and hopefully now it's just keep above who I need to stay above. And I'm looking forward to Charlotte the most. It's a track I really, really like, that I actually have experience on. So just trying to play it safe now. Looking forward to next year's 2 remaining races of this season.
Well, that is definitely going to be something that we are all going to have our eyes on as well. Who will leave Bristol as the points leader? Just refreshing to see if points have been updated. No, they have not, but I believe based on my math, you will. So it's going to come down to these final 2 races between you two. Going to be a lot of fun here on 3Wide TV. Before we let you go, any shout-outs you'd like to give out?
Of course, Peter, I'm going to shout you guys out for your amazing commentary. I go back and rewatch these races every night after the race, and I just have a huge grin on my face because of how professional and entertaining it is to watch. You guys cover the action perfectly. So huge shout out to you guys, everybody who throws the league together at NSRA, and my good buddy John Freeman is, of course, Next Level Racing, sponsor of mine. Big shout out to them. So just really appreciate everybody who makes this deal come together. So thank you guys.
Absolutely. It's always fun up here in the booth. But Maxwell, congratulations on picking up another win. I think that is your 4th win of the season, which makes you the winningest driver of all here so far. And we still got a couple of races left to determine who picks up the most wins. But congratulations on your win here tonight. And presumably, unofficially, your points leader, leaving this track with 2 races left. Best of luck.
Thank you. You guys have a great holidays and a happy new year.
And likewise. All right, folks, that's going to do it with our post-race interviews here on 3Wide TV. It is time to bring up our final race results for everyone back at home. Let's see if we can bring... Nope, that's... Go back just a little bit more. Do apologize about that. It might have popped up. It might not have. I might have caught it in time. But and that's definitely not the race name. But Maxwell Castro is your race winner. Ryan Johnson coming home a strong second there, late, popping up kind of out of nowhere, getting around James Miller and Jason Gracias there in the closing stages. Jared Appel finishing in 5th, Zach Duscher in 6th, Adam Pettit, Philip Scott, Glenn Grimm in 9th, Michael Madden rounding out your top 10 there, Garrett.
Yeah, that's one heck of a top 10. A lot of new faces there, Peter. Good things to come for this league. Jeffrey Vickery comes home in 11th. His teammate Stephen Ford, Shane Ledoux, closely in tow in 12th and 13th. Stephen Lashinsky had a couple incidents out there, comes home in 14th. John Cross, 15th. Our good friend Justin White had some sort of physics issue there with a car inside his car. Comes home in 16th. Stan Hausman in the Beer Street Journal Machine, 17th position. Travis Hoffler in 18th. Nathan Nixon 19th. And Cody Riggs rounding out your top 20, Peter.
Finishing in 21st, Gary Eschen in the number 45 had a big accident, took off the front end of his car. Brandon Key going to finish in 22nd, Race Clark 23rd, Jason Shue 24th, Ben Mashburn in 25th, who only did 2 laps here tonight. Drew Eisenman did not start in the number 77, and that is our 26 car field here tonight. Well, folks, unfortunately, I do not have, maybe you have the biggest mover of the race, Garrett. Maybe you can quickly compute that, but I want to give a big shout out to our friends over at Taz Racing Customs for sponsoring the biggest race mover award to the driver who picks up the most spots from the drop of the green flag. But unfortunately, due to live timing and scoring and having to get all the connection back up and running, the live timing and scoring did not capture that properly. If I was to say, I think Zach Duscher would probably be the best bet in the number 87, finishing in 6th. I think he started outside the top 20, so that would be, I think, hard to beat, considering I think most of the other drivers started up near the front of the field. But big shout out to our friends over at Taz Racing Customs for sponsoring, and if you need custom diecast, they are the place to go. Check out Taz Racing Customs. Their link is in the description of the video here. But also, big shout out to Beer Street Journal, Stay Tuned Sports. Of course, tomorrow night is our last broadcast of 2022 here on 3Y TV with the Stay Tuned Sports Podcast, the Truck Series. Going to be a lot of fun here in the National Sim Racing Association, 9 o'clock Eastern, tomorrow night, Friday night, December 17th. Garrett, any final thoughts about Bristol tonight?
Yeah, Peter, you did it again. It's still 2021. 2022 is not here yet. I'd like to wish you and the missus and the entire Short family a very happy holiday season. And our friends here at 3Y TV, thanks for tuning in every week. Have a safe holidays, everyone. And I appreciate you guys letting us do this.
You know, I think I did this last year as well. I just want the whole COVID-19 thing to be over with. And so I think last year I was saying, well, 2020, I think I was already calling it 2021 because I wanted 2020 to be over with that much. And now I want 2021 to be over with that much. And I'm already saying it's 2022. So anyway, that is what it is. But I want to thank all of you for tuning into 3Y TV here tonight. Have a great holiday season for all of us here on the channel. Stay safe and all of that good stuff. And we shall see ya.